And we're live. My name is Jonno Proudfoot, and this is Bridget Surtees, registered dietitian, keto expert extraordinaire. And the reason we're having this live is because we launched the Perfect Keto online short course about 7 weeks ago, and clients are doing super well, but we've also been promoting it heavily, and we keep getting tons of questions. So we're having this Q&A session to answer all the questions, hopefully in one go. So if you have any questions about keto or the Perfect Keto online short course, this is your opportunity to understand everything, what it's all about. So one of the things I say in the hello, Bridget, by the way. Sorry.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, Jonno.
Yeah, there we go. So one of the things we talk about a lot is, I was speaking to a guy the other day, and he's a very, very well-known sports journalist. He's the editor-in-chief of two of South Africa's most popular sports magazines. And he's seeing a dietitian. And he was seeing this dietitian for a month, and he says, "Oh, I'm feeling really positive about it. She's giving me all these like tips and hacks, and I'm in it for the long haul, and I'm feeling really good." And I asked him, how much weight have you lost? And he said, "No, I haven't lost any weight yet, but I know it's going to get there. I'm feeling good." And that's so I thought, okay, well, if his only reason to go and see her was to lose weight, and he's a month in and hasn't lost anything, then I would say that is possibly a failed expedition. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I think if that's your goal, you want to start achieving it pretty soon in order to be motivated to continue. Definitely.
Yeah. So we talk about getting people to lose a kilogram a week. You're the expert. Why is that possible on the keto diet?
So I think the keto diet actually looks at the real reason why people are putting on weight in the first place. And what we focus on is a lot of people who gain weight because they are insulin resistant. And if you're not tackling that problem, it's going to be really difficult to lose weight. So we focus on looking at what affects insulin in terms of diet, lifestyle factors, and we use those tools in order to reverse insulin and in order to allow your body to be in a fat burning body to lose weight. So we focus on the cause of the weight gain, and then we target those areas in order to lose the weight. Okay.
Now, a lot of people have said the nutrient, like keto diet, if you go on it, you're going to get like nutrient deficiencies, and they say, oh no, keto is basically all fat and no protein or vegetables. And apparently there are a few different types of the keto diet. It's like for epilepsy and a couple others. Maybe you could clarify the different types of keto diet and then what we work with at Real Meal and on your course.
Sure. Your traditional keto diet, or the very original keto diet, is called the classical keto diet. And that was used for epilepsy. It is still used today, but it's an extremely high fat and very restricted diet. So you're looking at approximately 70 to 90% of the diet being fat and very, very low in carbohydrates. Carbohydrates on a ketogenic diet for epilepsy are actually measured on a scale to the exact gram. So it's minimal carbohydrate and some protein for growth. Now, as I said, it's a very restricted diet. It's usually not a diet that is done for longer than 2 years. So it's not a lifestyle diet. It's done for a very finite period of time. And on that diet, everyone needs supplementation, whether it be certain vitamins or minerals. Now, we do a ketogenic diet here, and then the similarity is it's also low carb, and it's keto because it allows your body to produce enough ketones for to use as fuel. But I guess that's where the similarity stops. The ketogenic diet for metabolic health, the one that we use here at RMR, does not have to be restricted in terms of vitamins and minerals. You do not have to take supplements. You can eat protein, you can eat vegetables, above ground vegetables. You may be able to incorporate some fruit and dairy. So you're getting all your micronutrients and minerals and your fiber there. And then, it incorporates some healthy fats. So there isn't a need for additional supplementation on a well-formulated ketogenic diet for metabolic health.
So the well-formulated ketogenic diet for metabolic health, that's quite a mouthful. But I think like that's the key. And so one of the things that I always try and convince people of, but I always quote Steve Finney and say, he says, you metabolize the fat. So a lot of people get the fat thing confused. And so for the people who didn't make it to the webinar, could you just explain how fat fits into the ketogenic diet? Like, do we pour butter over everything, or How does
So
it work?
one of the key things with going on a ketogenic diet is your body undergoes a fuel switch. So on a traditional high carbohydrate diet, your body is using glucose as fuel. That is its main source of fuel. When you go low carb, your body switches to using fats and ketones as fuel. So ketones are molecules that are made when fats are broken down, and some of those fats travel to the liver, and your liver converts them into ketones. So the ketones in the fat become the fuel of source on a ketogenic diet. So your body's burning fat, and it's great if you've got body fat to lose because your body starts burning that body fat, but it also burns the fat in your diet. So it takes two types of fats, the fats in your diet and your body fat. And what a lot of people make the mistake of doing is they think it's an excuse to add a lot of liquid fats or fats to their diet. So they have everything with butter or everything with oil or cream, and then they don't lose weight. They might still produce ketones, but they're not losing weight because your body's got no reason to burn body fat. So the important thing is on a ketogenic diet, it's high in terms of fat for the calories. It's a very energy dense nutrient, so the calories it provides. But those calories can come from your fat stores in your own body, not always everything from your diet fat. So high in fat, but that fat needs to come also from body fat and not just your food fats.
So just to hyper clarify, the graph where you see 10% carbs, 20% protein, and 70% fat, of that 70%, maybe half is ingested orally or less than half, but the bulk of it is coming from your love handles, etc.
So that could also depend where you are in your keto journey, Jonno. So in the beginning, before you adapted to burning body fat, you're going to probably need a lot of fats in your diet. And then once you become adapted to burning your own body fat and ketones, your fats in your diet can come down. And how will you know when that happens? You'll start feeling quite full, and you'll feel you don't actually need to eat as much food as before. So probably in about 7 to 10 days is where you really need to make sure you're not just adding fats for the sake of adding fats, and rather getting the fats that's found naturally on your protein foods, the natural fats in your meat, fish, chicken, dairy products, maybe some nuts and seeds and things like that.
And so is that also on purpose to manage your appetite? So for instance, our first week, you're going to be craving like hell. So you increase the fat so that you feel full while you get into ketosis. And then once you're in ketosis, you don't need to.
Yeah, because one of the benefits of ketosis or ketones is it's a satiating fuel. It keeps you full. So it makes you feel full, and then you're obviously burning your own body fat as well. So you start feeling fuller.
Okay. Now, is it possible to, so no, I had a diabetes question. So do you have to, if you don't have a weight issue, or say for instance, you're like, I don't really care about losing weight, I just want to reverse diabetes, like then does it matter how much fat you eat?
It would matter because fat at the end of the day is still calories. So it's still energy. So you can still overdo your energy, and your body can have too much energy. And then you're not going to see any weight shifts, or you might see weight gain. So fats still do matter. And again, if it's just not needing to lose weight, that whole appetite, engaging your appetite, should help you decide how much fat you need. So it's not, fat doesn't become the be and end all on your plate. That needs to be your protein and your veg, but fats should still be there. But it's more about your appetite and judging that.
Okay. No. So that's great. So I think what I was kind of asking was about diabetes reversal. So because you're reducing your carbs and managing your blood sugar. So if you're having more fat, and say you're having too much fat, say you're putting on weight, is it possible to like have the wrong amount of fat but keep your carbs low enough to still reverse diabetes?
Oh, okay. I understand. Yeah.
Have I explained it properly? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I understand. So if you're lowering your carbohydrates, then obviously there's less glucose going into your blood, and then there's going to be less need for insulin. So definitely your circulating insulin levels can come down. And if your circulating insulin levels come down, it can also help with insulin resistance. So it can definitely, even if weight loss is not your goal, definitely insulin resistance reversal can happen with a low carb diet. but coming back to the fats, if you still consume far too much fats, then it's not going to help with the insulin resistance. But insulin resistance just on itself can be reversed just by watching carbohydrates.
Awesome.
Or lowering carbohydrates.
Cool. Can we talk about intermittent fasting? How does intermittent fasting tie into? Why are they married? Why do fasting and keto seem to always show up together?
So often when people are on a ketogenic diet, because you've got that internal fuel source, you often feel quite full and satiated. And a lot of people find they don't have to eat as much or as frequently as before. So a lot of people progress into kind of a intermittent fasting pattern of eating. They may not feel as hungry in the morning as they did before. So they don't eat breakfast, but they might eat brunch and they might eat a later meal. So many times people progress into an intermittent fasting kind of eating pattern. The benefits of, did you want to talk about the benefits of fasting? Was that a question?
Yeah.
One of the benefits of fasting. So first of all, a keto diet, that fuel switch that I keep on talking about, it switches to using fats and ketones. Fasting does exactly the same thing. It switches your body to use fats and ketones. So fasting and keto are married, if you want to say, because for both of those, you're using the same fuel sources. And if you combine fasting with keto, you're almost turbocharging that ketogenic diet. You get an enhanced benefit of everything that you've been trying to achieve just on keto alone, because it increases your ketones, it increases fat burning, it increases satiety. If we're just looking at the weight, and results in a reduction in inflammation. So it does very similar things to the ketogenic diet does as well.
And can you not die if you just don't eat?
Well, if you didn't eat maybe longer than a year, possibly. But with intermittent
there's a guy who did that. You know that?
Yes,
there's
368 days, I think. 368 days is the record. But he was closely monitored, and he was given hydration and minerals and vitamins. But with intermittent fasting, the point is not removal of food for extended periods of time. It's your choice. You've chosen to remove food, so it's not like starvation where it's an involuntary withholding of food. This is a voluntary withholding of food for certain periods of time. And if you're on a keto diet, you're already burning fat. Your body's already got 40,000 calorie worth of stored fuel that it can survive on. So you're not going to starve. You're not going to die. You've got that built-in fat storage that your body can use. So the point with intermittent fasting is just fasting for periods of time and then eating, fasting and then eating, and finding which works for you or what your goals are. There are various different types of fasting regimes.
So I've started doing an intermittent 24-hour fast every between like Thursday supper and Saturday supper. So basically break fast with Shabbat, even though I'm not Jewish, and I find usually by Friday afternoon. Well, in Cape Town, of the Cape Town Friday, which is basically when everyone clocks off at like 11 a.m. and I'm like the king of the Cape Town Friday. It gets to lunchtime on Friday, I couldn't be bothered. And since I started doing that, I feel like a lot of energy, and I kind of want to keep going. So which doesn't make sense because everyone says, "Oh, I'm exhausted, I'm starving," and I find that when I'm hungry, I actually get more energized. Is there any science behind that?
Well, I think with the longer you fast as well, the more your ketone production increases. So if you're extending your fast, you're going to be having more ketones, and those ketones are fueling your brain. So it's also giving your brain that boost of energy, because your brain can only live on glucose or ketones. So when you fast, your brain switches to ketones. It also makes you feel good. You're getting all that extra fuel to your brain. So the longer you fast, it speeds up things, and it speeds up the production of fat burning and ketone production. And for some people, look, fasting doesn't suit everybody, and different regimes suit different people. So for you, that works, and it's finding what works for you that's important, whereas someone else may find that they can't fast at all. And depending on the person, we've got to work out which fast works best for them.
And then I want to talk about gut health as well. So the gut health is like this whole new world of health that we barely even scratched the surface of. But I find when people get into keto, they get super into gut health as well, and I myself included, and we write about it. But maybe you could explain just the key points for people to know about gut health, like why it's important and what the benefits of a healthy gut are.
Sure. So our gut health, when we refer to gut health, we mainly looking at the bacteria or the good bacteria that reside in our gut. And that good bacteria has a host of benefits. It affects almost every single organ in the body. Just the one thing, the bacteria. So just what the bacteria do, the bacteria feed off things called parts of fiber. So it's the indigestible parts of certain nutrients. And from that, they make a molecule called short chain fatty acids. And these go on to create huge benefits in the body. And some of those benefits are they help with insulin resistance, they help lower blood sugar levels, they help with cholesterol, lowering cholesterol. They've been shown to be beneficial for weight loss, reducing inflammation, even brain health and brain diseases. So And these are just the bacteria in our gut. Now, these bacteria have to be in the gut in a certain amount, in a certain number, and any dysbiosis, so anything that upsets the bacteria in our gut can then do the opposite and can cause health problems. So gut health is focusing on what can we do to make sure that the bacteria in our gut stay as the good bacteria. And one of those things is to fertilize the gut. So give the bacteria food, special food, but also replace the good bacteria with other good bacteria. So eating food that is going to increase the good bacteria in our gut.
And that's like sauerkraut and kombucha.
So the foods, yeah. Sorry, yeah. So it's your fermented foods, or your fermented foods that add bacteria to your gut are sauerkraut, kefir. Gone blank here, Jonno, certain pickles, kombucha, and then so those are the ones that feed. Those are the good bacteria, and even Greek yogurt, with added live cultures. Okay, those are going to add the bacteria, the good bacteria, to your gut. Then you need to think of what the food is for that gut, and they live off certain parts of the fiber, and these are called prebiotics. So it's including food that are rich in prebiotics, so that your bacteria also has that to feed off. But there are also other areas of gut health. It's not just the pre and probiotics. It's also thinking of collagen containing foods, gelatin, and one thing that comes to mind is bone broth. So that's really good for gut health, but not from a bacterial side of view. It's more for the integrity of your intestinal wall. So it's not just, as I said, the bacteria. There are other aspects of gut health that we look at.
Now, do you think that it is more important to remove so this is kind of a philosophical question, because I find a lot of people pay attention to what they should add in, but then they ignore what they need to take away. And so there's stuff that disrupts the gut, right? That's bad for the gut. Maybe could you talk about that, like the balance between putting crap into your gut versus just taking that out and letting nature run its course?
Yeah. So probably the worst thing for the gut and the worst thing for the body is processed and refined foods, and in particular refined carbohydrates, so sugar. That's the worst thing for our guts. It's very inflammatory, and there's processed and refined carbs don't really contain any specific nutrients that our gut wants. It doesn't provide the fuel for the gut, and it upsets the balance of our gut. So it's all very well, as you said, putting in these fertilizers, but if you're still eating the wrong types of food, it's almost going to what's the word?
Offset.
Even it out. Offset it. Yes, thanks, Jonno. Offset it.
But offsetting is also dangerous.
Yeah. You need to put the right food in.
Yeah, for every donut, I'll have 2 tablespoons of sauerkraut, and then at least if I'm willing to eat the sauerkraut tomorrow, I can have 10 donuts today. So because I know the sugar is inflammatory and it messes with insulin and all sorts of stuff, but I heard something along the lines of like we have a combination of yeasts and bacteria, and that if you have sugar, you put the balance out of whack. So you get a higher concentration of yeast, and then that can lead to candida. Am I speaking Greek, or does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not my area of expertise, but the sugar provides the fuel.
Okay, for the yeast and the bacteria.
For the yeast, yeah. So you get that dysbiosis. You're getting the unwanted, or the growth of the putting unwanted bacteria or yeasts.
Okay, cool. So if anyone was wondering, all of these topics are mentioned in the Perfect Keto online short course. And I'm gonna walk everyone through what the course involves shortly. But I think just before we get into the nitty-gritty, Bridget, could you tell us, just as a professional, you see private clients, patients, and you consult, and then you run this course, and you see people coming through the course. Like, what is the main difference between the two for someone who's considering like the two different options?
So I definitely would say people would get much more out of the course. And the reason being, we're holding your hand for 6 weeks, and we're with you almost 24 hours of the day, with WhatsApp support, and Zoom, weekly Zooms. But what the course does, it takes you from the very, very beginning, and we teach you all about a well-formulated ketogenic diet and all the tools that you need, and finding the perfect keto for you, and looking at, it's not just the diet, but looking at lifestyle factors. And it's done over a 6-week period, and we work at a steady pace. We troubleshoot along the way. So I definitely think in terms of the course, you're going to get much more success, and you're going to get much more out of it. Whereas a one-on-one, you would see, if it's myself, you would see me for an hour at a time, and it would only be weekly. It wouldn't be every single day. You couldn't ask questions every single day, and we wouldn't be covering all the topics, because I wouldn't be giving talks on all the topics. So with this, you can take what you want, what works. Use the information that works for you, and go back and look at things to remind yourself what we've chatted about. But I think the support, Jonno, the support and the content is what trumps this one for me, than on one-on-one. And you've also got the support of other people who are doing the course as well. Yeah,
that's great. Cool. Question answered. So this is I'm just going to take you through briefly like what the program looks like. So it's the Perfect Keto online short course. It's Bridget's program, and she's using Real Meal Revolution's team basically to run the program. And so the first element of the course is that it's 6 weeks, and there are pre-recorded lectures, but they're not like 1.5 hour talks where you sit and drool, and get scienced out. They're short and succinct. I think the longest lecture on the whole course is maybe 15 or 16 minutes, maybe like that.
Yeah, I was going to say 12 minutes, but it might be a bit longer.
Well, yeah. No, you really knocked it out the park that one time. So, so pre-recorded lectures on a variety of topics. Mainly, we do fasting, we do keto, we do gut health, and then we layer them one on top of the other. So I think the other thing that I really like about it is, even me, when I look at a keto meal plan and say like, I'm going for it, there's quite a lot that changes compared to your normal diet. And to do it all at once can be overwhelming. Like, I must remember to fast. I must remember to do the gut healthy foods. I must remember to be keto, like stay away from the junk, focus on the good stuff. And so I like how it builds up over time. And so, as Bridget said, during the program, you're going to have access to her over WhatsApp. She did say 24 hours a day, but trying to keep it to office hours, like the occasional contact over weekends. But we have a tech support team and a coaching team, and they're involved in the WhatsApp group and available all the time to troubleshoot with whatever you're dealing with. And so it's very rare that in one of these online courses, especially at the price we're selling it at, that you get access to the actual person who developed the course. Usually it's you're on your own and you work through the content and you download the stuff and then off you go. So that's one of my favorite things. And then on a weekly basis, everyone gets together and we have what we call the hot seat. Bridget, do you want to talk about the hot seat?
Sure.
So yeah, well, I mean, I'll just say what it's about, and maybe you can just say what you enjoy about it. But the hot seat, someone or any number of people can volunteer their information privately. So if you are struggling and you want like a one-on-one consultation, you do it through a form and you answer a whole lot of background information. And then, Bridget, you can tell us what you do with that information.
Yeah, so the hot seat is great, and people can use it just to as a forum to make sure that they're on track, or if there's something they're really struggling with. So as Jonno said, they fill out a form. I then have access to their medical history. Maybe they've had some blood tests done. We look at what they're eating. And from that, I can help guide them in where they may be going wrong, or is it just a reassurance that what they're doing is correct? So it is like a mini consultation within a forum of everyone watching. So you do stay anonymous, but there'll be certain aspects that other people can identify with. And they'll, so for instance, we might talk all about insulin resistance because that person has insulin resistant features, and then how that person needs to adapt their diet for that. Or someone might be in a weight loss plateau, and we troubleshoot all the possible reasons. We look at what they're eating and what could they be doing that is causing this weight loss stall. So it's a great session where we can just look at everything about that person in terms of their diet and lifestyle factors, and help troubleshoot them so that they feel that they are moving forward and reaching their goals. It's also a general Q&A session as well. So it's not just that one person's case study. We also end off with a general question and answer session. So if anyone has got any questions or comments, they use that forum as well.
Cool. So I'm just going to walk through what's in the box. And what I've done here is just put a list of the different elements of the course that are involved. And then I'm just going to explain what they would cost individually, and then stack it up. And then I'll tell you what the course is worth. So the prices here are not what you're going to end up paying. It's just to give you an idea of how it's made up. So obviously there's the pre-recorded course. We have got a DIY course that we sell for 1,800. So this is probably understated. But say, for instance, like online course for 1,500 Rand. Then there's this plan. So Bridget's got a step-by-step plan. And basically, the goal of the plan is to get you from like your first keto meal plan to when you're in week 6 to be actually planning your own meals. So each week we layer it on for the first half. And then the second half, we actually start to let you fly on your own. And there are videos from Bridget teaching you how to actually plan your meals, so that you can design what we call the perfect keto for you. So by then you would have tried and tested a few things, seen what's worked and what hasn't. So there's this tried and tested keto plan from all of Bridget's years of experience. And then there's the WhatsApp support. So for 6 weeks to be in constant WhatsApp contact with Bridget and our team. And then there's the 6 troubleshooting workshops. So all of those together, if you had to go and attend like a one-off random troubleshooting workshop with the dietitian, probably be more than 400 Rand, but we've put it in there at that price. So these are all kind of like less than what they're worth. But the total value of that's between like 7 and 8 grand if you were buying it from Real Meal. And why we're super excited about it is because it's not actually the course that you're buying. You're buying the relief from a whole lot of these ailments. So there are clinical studies that show all of these things can improve when you follow a strict keto diet, or when you're doing it properly. So you can reduce heartburn, you can reverse symptoms of PCOS, improve libido, vastly improved mental clarity, improved athletic performance, disappearance of IBS, normalized blood pressure. All of these things show up when people just get healthy and improve their metabolic health. So this is actually what people are paying for, not so much just like all the different elements of the program. And when you do that, what you do is you give yourself more options so you can live a more adventurous life. When you lose the weight, some people, they feel more confident. So think about what it would be like for you if you had to lose that weight or reverse that condition that you're dealing with, and what that would mean for you in your social circle. What would it be like at work if you had more confidence and more energy? Or how could you play with your kids or your grandkids and be more fun, be more awesome? Because that's really the outcome that you're wanting, not like the WhatsApp group and the this and the that. They're all there as a means to an end. And so, yeah, we give 100% money back guarantee. So if you're not satisfied, you just mail us, we'll pay you back. No hard feelings. That's up to you. And so just to go through that stack again, it's with 7.2, and we are selling it for 3.5. So it's 3,500 Rand for the program. There's a link in the comments where you can sign up. So if you're watching this after the live recording, you just click on the link and follow it and sign up. And the next one starts on the 9th of June. It's the 9th of June. So we're graduating the current group now next Thursday, which is the 2nd of June. And then on the 9th of June, we take a new intake. So you've got 2 weeks to decide. And if you have any questions, just leave a question on the comments or pop an email off to support@realmealrevolution.com. And we will answer your questions, probably get on a call and explain if there's anything we haven't answered for you. So I'm going to leave the comment there. You can check out the link and go and find out more information, a little bit of a deep dive on the course. But Bridget, before we go, maybe you could just tell me or just share what you've enjoyed about running the course. Like, what do you get out of it? Because you consult, you don't have to do this course. You can consult, and you've chosen to do this. So why do you enjoy it?
Well, one of the big things, obviously, is seeing the successes that people are telling us about. And it's not just weight successes, but I mean, if we're talking about the weight loss successes, they've been brilliant. People have, I think they posted today, someone's lost 10 centimeters in their waist circumference. Another person's lost 6 kilos in 5 weeks. But it's also the other successes of, there's one person who posted that they feel that meal planning, they can plan ahead. They don't need to be, too worked up about what they're going to eat. And just non-scale related successes. And another person's blood sugars have improved just by doing keto. So it's the feedback that I think is amazing. And also one of the things I enjoy is the interaction. So on the WhatsApp group, the interaction that we're getting from the clients with their homework, posting their meal plans, and the support that the others give each other on the group when someone posts a success. And I've also loved, I love sharing my knowledge. So that's something I enjoy, and doing the talks. It's
Awesome.
it's rewarding. It's really rewarding.
That's cool. Well, so if you are watching and you are keen, hit us with a message and we'll respond immediately. So we'll leave it to you now. So you've got 2 choices. You can do nothing. Your first choice is to do nothing and carry on with your life. You can take these insights and apply them yourself. But your other choice is to take action. Like my good friend's late father always used to say, this is not a dress rehearsal. So we're not preparing for the main event. The main event is happening right now. And so I would say commit before you're ready. There's no such thing as being ready to commit. We must commit to be ready. So commit, sign up for the online course. We are going to hold your hand through a dramatic transformation, and you're going to love it. And you'll get all the information right from Bridget, who's one of South Africa's leading keto experts. Bridget, thank you very much for joining me. And for those of you watching, we'll see you on the course in the welcome session.
Thanks, Jonno.